Dear GM, Ford, and Chrysler, this is my daughter, Corporal Rachel Hugo, U.S. Army Reserve combat medic, who was killed in action by an IED in Iraq on 10/5/2007 while she volunteered for a mission riding in a Humvee rather than a mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle, or MRAP. You are asking for $25 billion of taxpayer money to stay afloat until you can bring to market a product that is conducive to today's marketplace and economy. Most of your affected plants are currently tooled to build SUVs, or in other words, trucks. The MRAP is a truck. It would certainly take far less retooling to build MRAPs in these plants and keep our fellow citizens working than to retool for vehicles suitable for today's market. There is $22 billion that is separate to the taxpayer bailout that the U.S. Congress and the President of the United States have made available to build these life and limb-saving MRAP vehicles, and will also give you time that you need to create, market, and build viable vehicles that can compete in the global marketplace and keep these affected plants in operation while contributing to the welfare and the well-being of our troops in harm's way. It will also help you to repair and maintain your dilapidated plants and to provide and maintain jobs that are currently in jeopardy. If my daughter and the majority of our country's soldiers had been riding in one of these vehicles, they would still be here today, no question. Let me remind you that no soldier has ever been hurt or killed while riding in an MRAP when an IED has detonated under or near their vehicle. The majority of our casualties are a direct result of IEDs and is also what killed my daughter. Since the Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, authorized and made the building of MRAPs a top priority in 2005, our soldiers have only received roughly around 7,000 of these life-saving vehicles. With only 9 manufacturers in the entire country building them, it will take many years, lives, and limbs before there are enough to go around. And let me give you a little history lesson. In World War II, General Motors built 7,546 Avenger fighter airplanes at its Eastern Aircraft Trenton Turnstead plant. Formerly used to manufacture and assemble General Motors vehicles, the plant was converted in 1942 to assemble TBM Avengers and build them from 1942 until the end of hostilities in 1945. This retooling saved GM from bankruptcy, without question. Ford Motor Company also built B-24 Liberators during the war at the Willow Run, Michigan plant and employed over 42,000 people. The story of Ford's Willow Run plant could fill a book in itself. They broke ground in April 1941, and by September it was complete. An 80-acre factory. Dormitories were built on site, and a commuter rail line was extended to it. Designed by Ford, executives like Charles Sorensen, Willow Run got off to a slow start. As its automobile assembly line style of manufacturing had to be adapted to aircraft production. By the mid-1943, with 42,000 employees, it began to turn out B-24s at 230 planes per month. By the end of 1944, they were putting out 650 per month. When production ended in April 1945, Willow Run had turned out over 8,600 Liberators. And if Henry Ford and GM could do this, there is no reason why you can't. And there is no reason why you cannot build these MRAPs in your factories. This country has orders for 21,000 MRAPs to be delivered to our troops, and again, roughly only 7,000 so far have been delivered since 2005. If GM, Ford, and Chrysler would consider my proposal and work with the U.S. Congress, the Department of Defense, and the President on this, it could keep GM, Ford, and Chrysler plants around the country running for many years, as the war on terror will likely require more than 21,000 MRAPs order to be sure. It will also give GM, Chrysler, and Ford and its employees time to come up with a new line of vehicles that can compete in the current global marketplace, keeping our plants running even longer and our employees employed. I also remind you, and this is most important, that the cost to U.S. taxpayers to care for our wounded warriors and to pay for our dead will be in the billions, possibly trillions of dollars now and in the future. Again, I ask all parties to consider my proposal. Our troops, our citizens, our country, and its economy need to know that our government, GM, Ford, and Chrysler are exhausting all avenues during this crisis. And under no circumstances should taxpayer bailout monies be used to bail out the big three without first using money available to them currently to help our brave troops in harm's way. We owe them. We owe their families. We owe my daughter. And we owe her fellow comrades and those of our allies, past, present, and future, who have sacrificed so much, including life and limb, for our freedom and the freedom of others less fortunate around the world. And I respectfully ask that everyone who sees this video contact your U.S. Congressperson in the House and the Senate, and that you ask them to consider this proposal, and that you send this video to everyone you know and ask them to do the same. I hope you will remember always that united we stand, divided we fall. And may God bless you, our soldiers, especially the fallen and the wounded, their families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America and her allies. Thank you.